You look at what this generation of millennials crave, they crave flexibility, being able to do what they want when they want. While the overall homeownership rate's been somewhere around 63%, if you look at those 35 and younger, it's only about 33 or 34%. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. When people ask us about affordability, as an example, you can look at different markets, and a market like New York is certainly less affordable than a market where I'm from, like Dallas. Particularly look at brand new assets that are being built. In New York, they cost about twice as much. They're around $2,800 or $2,900 per unit per month for a new asset. Dallas is about half that rate. And so that's why some of the markets, if you look in Southeast and Southwest, they're adding a lot of jobs because companies can move there and their employees are going to have more affordable housing. We then get the question of, well, okay, let's not look at specific markets, just in general, is housing, particularly rental housing, unaffordable? For the most case, the answer is no, it's not unaffordable, particularly in some of those more affordable markets like in Atlanta or Charlotte or Dallas or Phoenix. In New York or Boston or San Francisco, it's probably a bit of a different story. If I'm looking at a decision of whether I want to rent or whether I want to buy, one thing I would want to know is how long do I plan to work, not just in that market, but with that company. Because what happens if your company relocates or if you get a job on the other side of town that now your commute doubles? How are you going to change that? When I look at just different investment strategies, I think one of my favorites, if we look at it today, would be those properties that are kind of priced in the middle part of the market. We would call those Class B assets, and you'll walk into these properties that might be 20 or 30 years old, but they look brand new on the inside. It looks just like if you went and bought a single family home. The real difference is though, if you want to move in a year, you can. And so that's why when we think long term, I think people are going to continue to rent, and demographics are certainly in the favor of that at least the next 5 to 10 years. I think this new generation is really teaching us that the American dream evolves over time. If we go back and we look at 30 or 40 years ago, the American dream was living in the suburbs with a white picket fence, and you had this house that you were probably going to live in for the rest of your life.
They will have all the facilities of modern city living.
We're seeing those baby boomers now who helped create that American dream are selling that house and moving into urban core locations and renting properties. Really, I think the American dream is turning into more experiences. I want to be able to do as much as I can with the time that I have. I don't want to sit on a freeway stuck in traffic. I would rather spend time with my friends and my family than doing the types of things I really like to do.